resume as well. King McClure, former Baylor guard and also ESPN analyst, joins us on Sic'Em 365 Radio. Did you just get finished playing a little basketball?
Yeah, man, I literally just got finished hooping with the team. Trying to get them right for Iowa State. Did it against Kansas, but just trying to help them out, get prepared for Saturday.
Yeah, with the depth issues, I mean, it doesn't hurt to have a former guy that is a starter getting there and going head-to-head with them, huh?
Yeah, it was me and Tweety Carter, actually. So
wow.
we played as a scout team. We played against them. We tried to run some of the Iowa State sets, just help the team any way we can.
All right, King, how's your game right now?
How's my basketball game or my broadcast game?
Well, listen, we know your broadcast game, but I want to know the basketball game. When you're playing against guys that are, that are in practice, like actual practices every day. I know you still hoop it a lot, but you're not doing every day what they're doing. I want to know how you feel you're holding up.
I actually played really well today. I mean, I was able to throw a few nice dimes and get to the rim easily. I can still play. I can still play at a very high level. My biggest thing is my conditioning. If I could get in shape, I could be able to compete at the highest level. That's what they have over me right now, is the fact that they can run up and down the court all day. I run up and down the court maybe 5 times, and I am done.
Well, King, I know we're going to talk about other teams in the Big 12, but might as well start off with Baylor. What a week it has been. The tough win over Oklahoma State, the big game day fanfare, the win over Kansas, turn around 2 days later, you go to Austin, close that building down with a win over Texas, and now sitting pretty in the top 5. But just your thoughts on the grind that they went through, but being able to get through it with 3 wins, was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was super impressive, and reason being is because of the injuries. I mean, they don't have that depth. So for you to play those 3 games against 3 tough opponents, we all know Oak State is a grind no matter where the game is. No matter if it's at the house or if it's at their place, it is a grind. So then you win that game, survive, go to play against Kansas on game day, just the whole game day adrenaline and everything. That takes so much out of you. But for you to be able to concentrate, still get the dub, and then you follow it up. So Saturday followed up on Monday at Texas. And, Texas is playing very emotional because it's the last game in the Frank Irwin Center. So for you to be able to get 3 huge wins in the Big 12, 3 wins in the Big 12 is good. But those 3, that's special, and that gives you confidence, and that gives you momentum carried into the postseason. So I love that. I love that for Coach Drew and his staff.
King, I admit I didn't think so, but about 2 weeks ago, did you give Baylor a chance to get back in this thing to get a piece of the title and maybe win it outright?
I never really counted them out because the Big 12 is, you just never know. I mean, it's so up and down. You never know who's going to beat who. Every single game is a grind. So I figured that Kansas would drop some. And I figured that if Baylor could beat Kansas the second time, they have a chance of winning. Because I feel like Kansas was going to drop one. If I would have called one, I probably knew they were going to drop the one at TCU, because the way TCU played when they played Texas Tech at home, I was like, yeah, if they play like that against Kansas, they have a chance to beat them. Plus, they match up really well with Kansas. Eddie Lampkin, what he provides on the interior against David McCormick, Mike Miles, one of the best guards in the Big 12, they really match up well with Kansas. They'll probably get beat tonight, but I really wasn't surprised about their victory over Kansas earlier this week. So, I never really counted Baylor out, but I'm glad that if they handle business, they can get a piece of the Big 12 championship.
King, what has been the key to them avoiding foul trouble for the most part over this stretch where they haven't been able to sometimes you got to leave a guy on the floor with 3 fouls because there's not somebody you can put up there for 7, 8, 9 minutes to get to the end of the half?
Yeah, I think it's awareness. I think it's watching film. I think it's the coaches making the players aware of, hey, we really don't have the numbers. So because we do not have the numbers, you must be smart. So if you realize, okay, it's the first half, Al Flagler, James Akinjo can't pick up that second foul because they know, all right, we don't really have that many guards. So if I get this second foul, then I have to go sit on the bench because I can't play. I can't risk getting the third in the first half because coaches need me for the second half. So I think that right there, just that awareness, the coach is really stressing it in practice, constantly emphasizing that. I think that is huge for the players. I think it's huge for everybody, the whole program. And they know what's at stake right now. They're older. They've been around the program except for Jeremy and Kendall. Everybody else knows what that say. They know what it takes. I think that right there is the biggest thing. Just the awareness of, hey, I can't pick up this foul. And sometimes you have to realize that I can give up this 2 points because that 2 points is not worth my 15 or 20 points that I can get. And I can't get that 15 or 20 if I'm on the bench.
So, King, in order to win at least a share of the Big 12 championship, they have to win this final game against Iowa State. And the good news is that it's at home, and there should be a good crowd, I would think, with what's on the line. But in terms of Iowa State, a middle-of-the-pack Big 12 team, but obviously they've got some bright hopes about the future and moving forward. What are your thoughts on the matchup itself and what Baylor will need to particularly be on point about?
Yeah, I mean, I like Iowa State. I've had a chance to do their past, not this last game, but the game before that and the game before that. I got a chance to watch Isaiah Brockington put 36 on, I think it might have been Oak State or somebody. I forgot who that game was against. But Isaiah Brockington just went absolutely crazy. And he has probably been one of the most consistent players in the Big 12 when you look at it, other than Ochai and Bryson Williams from Texas Tech. I think Brockington is spectacular. I think Tyrese Hunter is maturing in his game. I think the freshman here, he's going to be great in the Big 12 conference for the next 3 years. He's learning how to properly read a ball screen and take his time. The game is slowing down for him. But the other thing that I just don't know about the Iowa State team is the fact that they're so inconsistent. I mean, you play so well for about a stretch of 4 or 5 games. They were on a hot streak. Then you play Oklahoma State and you just get waxed. And that's the name of the game. That's the story on those guys. You just don't know what Iowa State team will be on the court that night. And against Baylor, I don't expect them to beat Baylor. It's senior night. We lost on my senior night, which I still haven't forgot that to Oklahoma State. But I don't think that they'll lose on senior night. I think with everything that is on the line as far as winning a Big 12 championship, I think the guys will be motivated and they're going to get the victory. So I'm not really worried about it.
What are your thoughts about what they have done with Jeremy Sohan and his role?
I love it. I mean, I think that guy right there is working himself into the first round of the NBA draft. It's his versatility. You know, he's a 6'8", 6'9" wing who can guard multiple positions. Really started off playing the 3-4 this year, but now they move him over to the 5. We saw against Kansas, move him to the 5, and now that's a mismatch problem. All of a sudden, McCormick has to close out to Jeremy Sohan, and Jeremy Sohan can put the ball on the floor, drive by him, step back and shoot the 3. He just provides so many options on the offensive end, and defensively, he's tough enough to where he can go down there and bang with McCormick down low. I mean, they say he's light skinned, they say he switches hair all the time, and he's a little different. But one thing about the kid, he's not soft. He's tough. Mm-hmm. He's young, he's a freshman, but he plays like a grown man. And that's the biggest thing I like about him. He's maturing and he's evolving. And at the beginning of the year, they said he was good, but now he's starting to really flourish and become that solidified first-round draft pick.
Kendall Brown shooting the threes has also opened up the offense. As a young player, when you're not asked to early on, which they didn't, and they didn't need him to. I mean, you have LJ available and all the guards. You know, you're not really going to expect him to shoot threes. But how much does that change things? And can you talk about what it's like being a player when the coaching staff tells you, like, go ahead and shoot them when you haven't been for the first part of the season?
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, the biggest thing about shooting is confidence, right? So I think a lot of times you look at a guy's shot, and I'm not going to name any names, but there were some people that you've seen. When they shoot the ball, it just doesn't look good. Like their shot actually looks broke. So if it looks broke, 90% chance that it really is broke. When Kendall Brown shoots the ball, it does not look broke. It actually looks good. It comes off his fingertips great. He has great rotation. He shoots it very soft. It looks good. So he has the mechanic and the form to be able to shoot. Right now it's just all confidence because he's never been in a situation where he had to shoot because he was so much more athletic than everybody he played against in high school that he can just drive by people, dunk on them, call it a day, move on. But now teams are sagging off of him, giving him that three-point shot. And it's all about confidence. You see, if you go in a game and your coach is telling you to shoot it, you start to build up that confidence. And the more confidence you have, then you start seeing them go in more and more frequently. So I think that right there, his confidence is starting to rise and really starting to come out. And I think that's huge for him because they're going to need a three-point shooter because if he cannot knock down a consistent three ball, that's going to hurt and clog up lanes for Jeremy to drive, for James to drive, for Flag to drive. So he has to be able to at least face the floor and at least be a threat on the perimeter.
King, you've done a few TCU games, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've done quite a few. What are your thoughts just on Jamie Dixon and the way they've turned themselves into a tournament team, getting those big 2 wins this past week? I mean, obviously to beat Tech was a great win, but then to turn right around with Kansas, I know they got to play them again tonight, and we just talked about that a few seconds ago. But your thoughts on Jamie Dixon and the job he's done?
I think he's done a great job with this team. I think that at the beginning of the year, nobody really knew what this team was going to be. I mean, they knew Mike Miles was good, but we really didn't know about anybody else as far as we didn't know how Damian Ball would adjust to the Big 12. We didn't know if Eddie Lampkin could play at a high level consistently because he was out of shape. We didn't know what Micah Peavy would bring. We didn't know how Emmanuel Miller would transition from the SEC to the Big 12. And now we're seeing that these guys are tough. They compete on the defensive end. They're long. They're athletic. And Mike Miles, the fact that he's grown so much as a player. I mean, he's from Dallas, a kid who played on the same AAU team I played on. And at the beginning of the year, he was a high-volume shooter. All he wanted to do was shoot the ball, get up shots, really was not that efficient. Now you see him starting to take the right shots and mature in his game, get his teammates involved, become more of a playmaker that can score than a scorer who can play make, if that makes any sense. So I think that his involvement has helped this team so much because now he's not forcing shots. And plus, it helps also that Damian Ball finally is starting to be consistent. He can score the ball from the perimeter consistently. So I really like what Jamie Dixon has done, and this team is good. They're hard to beat at the house. They're hard to beat at home because when I did about 2 games there, the student section was rocking. It was absolutely unlike I've ever seen in there before. I played there about 3 times, and it was never that lit in there. And the past 2 games I've done for them were absolutely crazy. That place was rocking. It was sold out. And so that helps a lot. But I think that this team is good. I think they're legit. I think they can probably win a game or 2 in the tournament.
King, you know that arena never had a banner of a Big 12 championship, and now they have that, and they're about to possibly have 2. There was never the Final Four. They got close a couple of times, but now they have that, the national championship. Now they have that. And I know the team in the late 40s was able to go to what was then the Final Four. You're starting to see these things go up. For a program that was always close, but they were also overshadowed. What does it mean to you as a former player to watch that?
Yeah, what it means to me is that, I had an impact on the program. And, I mean, without me, without guys like Tweety Carter, without a lot of guys who came before, Jake Lindsey, all these different guys, Ismail Wainwright, this wouldn't be happening. So regardless of the fact that if we're the ones receiving it, they still benefit off of what we went through. And Coach Drew does, because we had to put so many sacrifices there and we laid the foundation for what we see now. And I think right there, it just means so much because, you put your blood, sweat, and tears in a program so that one day you can get this. And not every program gets this. So it's an honor and a privilege to be associated with a program that actually wins and consistently wins. Because when you look at it, when you look at the programs that consistently win, it's really the blue bloods. And they have a rich history. And for us to start to be in that conversation of, all right, Baylor is now mentioned in the same category as Kentucky, as Duke, as North Carolina, as Arizona. That right there means the world, because that means the hard work that we put in paid off, whether we won or not. Now it's paid off because this is what we did it for, so that we can one day see our name mentioned with the greats, that we can be considered and thought of as the greats. Now, I don't take my Baylor stuff off. I want everybody to know. Everybody knows I went to Baylor, but I'm proud. I'm super proud I've always been proud, but I'm even more proud now for my Baylor green and gold everywhere I go, because it means something to me. So I think that's huge. That name Baylor just means something. And when you look around, not just in the basketball program, but in the football program and almost every sport, Baylor is great. It's a household name now. So I think that it means so much as a former player to just see the school having so much success.
King, I asked you about your game. Tweety Carter just came off of his season, probably less than a month ago. What is it like for the young guys to play with somebody who's a crafty, not only skilled, but just a really crafty veteran like that?
Yeah, it's huge. Tweety Carter and James Akinjo, kind of got into it in like a jokingly way because they're just both competitors. It's both dogs. So today, I mean, they were going at it, battling back and forth. Tweety was talking trash to him. It was just good to see a guy like Tweety who played such an impact on this class, such an impact on this program, and a guy like James who is having an impact this year, being able to battle it out and still compete at a high level. So that was great to see, and it means so much because afterwards, so they got into it, but at the end of the day, it's all love, and they came together and basically talked everything, and just Tweety was giving them advice, and just James was just soaking it all up. So it was great to see that and be able to witness the legacy and the history from the program come back and give it to the new players. So it was great to see.
I love that they got it. That one, Akinjo was not afraid to back down, and then a Tweety was, hey, he's like the godfather of this thing, right? And he's one of the ones that kicked this thing off.
Yeah, it was great to see. I mean, Tweety, I'd let him know a few times, like, hey, I was one of the main guys who started this, so don't get it twisted, James. And James was like, well, I'm here now, and it was great to see.
Wow,
that needs to be on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, and maybe it will be. We might need to get Tweety on tomorrow to kind of. That's awesome. I love that you go back. And I love the fact that the youngins also, hey, I understand that, but this is our turf now. But they respect the history with you there, with Tweety there. And that's one of the things that even when Baylor was, knocking on the door, former players love the staff, love to come back and support this program. And I'm sure that's probably the case a lot of places, but it does seem to be a special family, even with Scott making sure that everybody that ever touched this program basically got a piece of a net, got a T-shirt, or got something along the way, and also were invited to the parade.
Yeah, it was all love at the end of the day. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Yeah, we come back, and even when I was here, guys like Paul T., Isaiah Austin, they would come back, and we legit get into it with these guys. But at the end of the day, it's all a Baylor family. We're all part of the Baylor family, the Baylor Brotherhood. And afterwards, we're like, hey, I want to go eat. Like, let's go eat somewhere. Like T.R. Jackson, same thing. Let's go eat somewhere. And just give me the advice. Give me as much advice as you possibly can. But it's all love. I mean, Coach Drew cares about his players, cares about everybody who stepped foot on this court and played for him. And that just speaks to the man he is. The legacy that he's going to leave behind is absolutely incredible because he's touched so many lives and been able to help so many different guys. I say this all the time. Like, those guys, as far as the coaching staff, they're like my second fathers. I mean, those guys mean so much to me because they're anything I need. If I can call those guys up, any one of them, I can call those guys up anytime, and they're willing to help me at any moment, no matter what happens. When my dad went through his stroke and everything, Coach Drew, Coach Tang, those guys were the main people. Like, hey, how can we help you? Like, what can we do? Like, do I need to come down there and basically like be a support to you? Like, what do you need right now? And literally, whatever I needed, they were there for me. They were a listening ear. And it's like a true sense of family. It's not just like a lot of times people say, hey, yeah, we're a family, but they just say that for the TV or the radio or whatever. But this is actually family. Like, this is actually a true sense of family. Like Coach Jacobs and Coach Tang came to Dallas early this week, and they were like, hey, King, we're in Dallas. You want to go eat with us and then go watch this game? And I was like, for sure. Most definitely. Let's go. So we went to go eat and then go to watch the game together. And that's just like true sense of family right there. They're like his two mentors to me, and everybody on the staff. It means so much to me and everybody who's come through this program. So it's really a true sense of family.
How's your father doing?
He's doing well. He's slowly getting better. It's a slow process anytime somebody goes through that. His mind is sharp. His mind is great. He can have a conversation. He can talk to you all day like he used to be able to. But his body just isn't functioning the same way it used to. It's going to take a minute. He's going to rehab, and he's made a lot of progress. I mean, he's able to do everything by himself now. Just stand up, go walk. But it's going to take, a minute for him to get back to that Leroy, that preppy, always trying to do push-ups in the gym, just trying to like get back to working out all the time, Leroy. So I think he'll get back, but it'll take a minute.
I saw this GoFundMe page. I'm gonna put it up on the YouTube channel or chat room. There was a goal of 50,000. They were at 39,370, and some of these things just don't work, and that's awesome. So I'm gonna put that link up. I hope it's still active. If there needs to be.
I really don't know because I know we reached the goal because a lot of people
Okay,
gave,
good.
Yeah, a lot of people gave outside the GoFundMe.
Okay.
So to whoever listened to this, if you gave, thank you so much for helping my family. I mean, it means a lot. There's a lot of people part of the Baylor family who just really, really, reached out and extended a helping hand and gave above and beyond what we even could imagine. So thank you so much for all the Baylor family and the Baylor support that they gave through that tough time.
As I told you earlier today, give everybody where can they get your podcast? Because as I told you, a sponsor is interested in getting involved with that, and you know him, Ted Teague and Alan Samuels. Where do you get the podcast? And are you going to be doing any conference tournament games at all when that starts?
Yeah, so King's Court on YouTube, King's Court with King McClure on YouTube. I'll be doing Nevada and San Diego State on Saturday, on CBS actually. Then next week I will be on the radio all week leading up to the Big 12 tournament. I'll be on the Big 10 Network radio, Sirius XM. I don't know what channel it is. Tomorrow morning at 7 to 10. I'll be on Big 12 radio all morning next week. Next Saturday I'm doing the MEAC. And then you can probably catch me on a bunch of different TV shows, guesting on a bunch of different TV shows. And I think I'm doing this live Twitch show during March Madness. And
Okay.
I might do like some sports stuff. But yeah, you can catch me at a lot of different places. Follow me on Instagram, and then you'll probably see where I'm at.
And we'll try to get you when we can as well. King, thank you, man. Great news on your father. Great news on I love the background story today of the workout with King McClure and Tweety Carter against Baylor at practice. King McClure, ESPN broadcaster, former Baylor guard, and just a great young man. Sic'Em 365 Radio, 365 Sports. The